Kubrat Pulev pulls out, decides to take on Mr. Gassiev, Murat, okay? And my counterpunch is simple. This only makes, it's good and bad, okay? It's good because we now continue the narrative, right, of Moses Itauma when people are avoiding him. People are swerving that particular challenge. They want the devil they know. They don't want the devil that they don't. Even though Murat Gassiev is 32 years of age, and he's hard hitting himself with 25 KOs, I think 32 wins, 2 losses. Nonetheless, people would rather fight that guy than the devil you don't know, Moses Itauma. That's all this is about, right? That's the good news. I mean, that reputation of hey, nah, I think I'll pass. I think I'll take a hard pass on taking on Moses Itauma. You know, I think that's just really making him more avoidable, making people reluctant to fight him, making him more of that kind of Jayapataya-ish type fighter that, hey, that's a certified badass in the making, because people are trying not to fight that particular guy. They're avoiding that guy for a reason. Therefore, he's feared. Okay, that's the rep that you get when someone doesn't want that shit. Bars, right? That's a good thing. Now, here's the bad thing. The bad thing is, the yang is Moses Itauma needs a fight. And look, it's already October. It's mid-October now. Shit, it's mid-October. And he hasn't got a dancing partner. You know, now I know people, you know, like Philip Hergovic has called him out, the avoidance of Frank Sanchez. So those are 2 names that we should hear more about, or we should revisit if you're Moses Itauma, because if the problem is you're expecting someone to get in the ring with this new up and coming fighter, then I feel that either you're going to have to offer more money because he is that guy, or he is that good and people don't want to take that risk for little money, or maybe you're avoiding the fights that you should have took. Because there's no such thing as nobody wants to fight me, because I'm tired of that narrative. But that's what's growing when there's people calling you out, or when people are pulling back from certain fights. So you can't say that Moses Itauma is a guy that nobody wants to fight. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? So he's not in that boat quite yet. He's not in that Jayapataya circle quite yet. Just certain fighters, the older ones, the ones with some sense, are like, hell no. I'm going to use my wise brain and say, nah, I think I'll fight someone else. You know, we've got the memo. We've seen the demo reels. We've seen these first round knockouts. We've seen guys that he's stopped that ain't been stopped like that ever before. We've seen this shit from this guy, and I don't want any part of it. And I don't want to add to that reel. I don't want to add to that highlight reel of getting my ass stomped out in 56 seconds. You know what I mean? So Kubrat Pulev has got the memo, I feel. So good for him. He's like, nah, I'll take on somebody else, something that's probably more winnable or makes more sense for me. Since him being the WBA champion, and then since he is that guy that is champion, regular WBA, I don't think they offered him enough money. Maybe that's one of the guys that Frank Warren mentioned that wanted too much money. But, you know, we don't know that yet. You know, until Frank confirms it or, you know, claims it or whatever, we won't know that. But I'll tell you this. With Moses Itauma, he needs to find a fight quick. You know, so it's either somebody that we never heard of, another Lima or something like that. You know, maybe he needs to fight someone. But here's the thing. If he does pick somebody that we don't know, don't knock this guy out in a second and then have your promoters claiming that nobody wants to fight him, because that's not the truth. The truth of the matter is there are 2 people that want to fight Moses Itauma. And if they don't want Moses in there, just quite yet with those guys, okay, that's fine. I don't have any problem with that because I think they were moving them too fast anyway. So I don't want people to think that I'm hating on Moses. I just want people to understand, don't give him this jacket that he doesn't deserve yet. Not everybody's ducking him. They just don't want to get knocked out by a guy that holds no value. See, the only reason Moses, I seen him wanting to fight Kubrat, because Kubrat had the WBA regular. And he had another opportunity, to fight for the super or, the super title, the WBA super. So that would be the only reason, really. But if they're not trying to supply the money to the regular champion, he went somewhere else. And that's okay, because the chances are better with winning. So if you're a guy that's 41, 42 years of age, and you're coming to the end of your career, the last thing you want to do is take on some young, hungry whippersnapper firecracker, right? You don't want to take on nobody like that and get your ass whooped and become, again, a highlight reel. Okay, so I do understand both sides. It's bad for Moses Itauma, good for Kubrat Pulev. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.